Welcome back, everyone, to the Pinball Party Podcast. My name is Jason, and this is the podcast. Fuck. You've downloaded it. You spent your gigabytes and your, well, to be fair, probably about 200 megabytes, recording at 48.1 quality. I'm using a Shure SM7B microphone into a Focusrite Scarlett audio interface, using Audio-Technica M50s as my monitors over my ears, and some Genelec 8030s should I need to not use it. Who cares? Welcome back to the show. You know, it's been a slow pinball year. In fact, a slow couple pinball months. Hence, not doing this podcast for a little while. We did one, was it last week? A couple weeks ago with Cale Hernandez from Electric Bat Arcade. The Blackbirds, if you will, out of Tempe, Arizona. Go check them out. Fantastic. I haven't done a lot of pinball. I've been watching from afar, like a gargoyle on a stoop, keeping an eye on the secondary market going down, and pinball machines just kind of like, okay, here they are. John Wick, I still haven't played that. Seems to be, in all counts, not doing that great. People don't really enjoy it that much, except for Keanu Reeves on that recent video, Instagram, or pick your social media of choice. He was playing it, I believe it was at Comic-Con, which is actually pretty awesome. I mean, Keanu Reeves, Matrix, Speed, Man from Tai Chi, you get it. Him playing his own game is awesome. But I'd be smiling too, a multi-hundred millionaire, whatever he is, playing a pinball machine based off of a franchise that you love. I would also probably be smiling. It would have been a much more entertaining video if it's like him playing. He's like, "What the fuck is this? I don't want to play my own game." He just hates his life. That'd be more unusual. But yeah, of course, he enjoyed it. It was a cool video. But he strikes me as someone who really is into that kind of counterculture, if you will, the skateboardy, pinball-y, probably has his fair share of marijuana from time to time. You know the type. If you don't, I don't know what you're doing listening to this, but yeah, it's been slow. Aside from Godzilla and Black Knight sort of rage and the just whimpering John Wick, it's all a lot of like random news that, to be honest, like it doesn't keep me like, oh my God, on the edge of my seat. And I guess my history with pinball is not, I should say, sustainable. I guess for those new to the show, from buying games, going across the state and the country and finding the game you want and playing it and doing all that and that lifestyle. And it was pre-COVID, so it was before the pricing craziness. But I'm just not doing that lately. And with the time off, a lot of reflecting, per usual, on what I've really enjoyed about pinball. So why I wanted to hit record today, not just, pinball's stupid and we're in a rough spot. I mean, it's true. I mean, I wish I had 50 games to play right next to me, but I don't. I have 0 games, and I haven't had a game in a long time. But yeah, reflecting on what pinball has been for me and why I kind of have gone through some of these hot streaks of playing a lot, talking a lot, doing a lot, and then not. And not to be like, hey, everyone listen to me, but maybe some are in a similar boat or find similar pleasure in the sport of pinball. So I was taking a walk today, thinking about that, of, the wise men say the things to spend your money on that provide you the most happiness is, experiences, saving your money, paying down debt, not buying stuff or consumables. Not that pinball is a consumable, but if I think back of all the pinball machines that I've lusted after, I can't wait to get a Lord of the Rings with a specific playfield or a game I haven't played, or all these, and then subsequently getting shit for selling a game too soon. All that nonsense. You've heard the story before, or people, hey, you got this new machine, keep it for a year, otherwise you're weird, or what are you doing? No, I think my habits and a lot of others' habits out there, that is more of the healthy way of buying a pinball machine was never about, for me, or at least I can tell now looking back, and I did know at the time, it was never about owning a thing, to scream to the world, I now own a Ghostbusters Premium. My life is now good and I can now be happy. I never fooled myself into thinking once I find a game, suddenly, life will be great. But I did try to trick myself into that many a times, and I still do with things I buy of like, okay, once I have that thing, then I'll be happy. Then, you play out this fantasy in your head of, okay, then that part of my identity will be good, and then finally that will actually happen, and that's what I've been waiting for, and you get obsessed over it, and okay, I got to find it. Where is it? I'll drive 10 hours. I got to get it. And you get that dopamine. You see it. You get it. Oh, my God, I got it. You get it home. You play it. Oh, my God. And a couple days later, like, whoa, uh-oh. Where's that feeling? Where's that? Shit. What did I do? Oh, what I was really doing is I was after the novelty and the experience and the newness of it. And it wasn't necessarily buying the thing or owning a Ghostbusters Premium that was like missing, since birth, born, and I get food and milk and water and what I need, and I cry when I don't have my safety and all that. But where's my missing Ghostbusters Premium? At some time 40 years in the future, I will obtain it, and then happiness will come. That never happened. I guess what I'm getting at is thinking back to 2 years ago, even last year to a certain extent, last year, the year before, and the year before that, let's say, when I was doing plenty of what all of us do, find the games we want, play them, trade, all that stuff with friends. When I think like quick thoughts of that history, I'm not actually thinking of the games. I remember the experiences of getting the games or the meeting the people that I got the games from. If I think of let me just actually pull up a list of games I own. A fool's errand to look at the past games I've owned, because basically, like a lot of us, throw a dart at a dork board, throw a dart at a dork board, and we probably hit a machine that I've owned, not for bragging rights, but just because whatever. Okay, look at marking ads, looking at Pinside, the cesspool. Pick a random game. Bram Stoker's Dracula. All right. Do I remember the game? I mean, I do, but what I remember most, if someone, let's say God. I'm not a God person. I don't believe in it. Whatever. If you do, great. Who cares? What do you believe in? I don't give a shit. But let's say it's God. It's easier to describe this story like this. I die from old age. I'll probably live to like 102 because everyone in my family lives forever. But, once I hit like 95 years old is when I start just doing heroin and smoking cigs again, like really living, Anyway. So I'm like 101. Oh, I'm just fucking jacked up, full of heroin and drugs, just opium all day. Not opium, opiates all day. Partying, smoking cigs, love it. Dead, loved my life, great. God's like, hey, tell me about the time you had Bram Stoker's Dracula, the pinball machine. What I immediately think of is the drive down to, it's about a 4-hour drive, 8-hour round trip, I think down by Milwaukee. I remember finding the game for a couple months, looking for one without the, what is it on the playfield, the planking on Bram Stoker's. And then when I finally found one for a good price, which actually took a while because some people overvalued them than they should have been, and undervalued, all this stuff. They didn't have the right mods in it that you want, or like, oh my God, I got to work on the board right away. Again, listen, I guess what I'm saying is like, I'm not talking about the game. I'm remembering finding it, the pros and cons of talking to certain people. I remember this one guy, my God, on Facebook, who was probably took him 2 years to sell it because he's just an idiot. Found the game, and I was gonna buy it, and then I backed out, like as in like, nah, I guess I'm not actually fully interested. I didn't fully commit, and then I saw the game at MGC, the actual game I was gonna buy, and if I would have been a smart man, I would have bought it there and brought it back. But instead, a week later, I'm like, hey, actually, I played your game at MGC, so I've actually tested it. I'll come buy it. So I'll come drive another 8 hours. But I remember it was close to Halloween era, so I was in the mindset, and I thought, what would be really, make this experience good for me because it's an 8-hour drive. I love Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie. Why don't I listen to the audiobook? Not the abridged one with Count Dooku himself, Christopher Lee, narrating, which was, I know that because I accidentally downloaded that first and thought, man, this book is pretty quick. I got refunded by Apple and I bought the unabridged for what it's worth. I thought, I'll listen to the audiobook on the way there and back and just have the full Dracula experience. And, again, what was I doing leading up to it? I was like making this big paradise in my head. I'm going to listen to this audiobook, and then I'm going to go get Bram Stoker's Dracula, listen to the back, and I'll be, all of my vampire, the knowledge I have of vampires, the love I have of the vampire lore, from Bram Stoker's to Interview with the Vampire to just vampires in general as a kid. We all kind of like vampires. It's pretty sweet. It'll be awesome. It'll fill that little gap. And I go get the game, and it's in the same condition I knew it was in. I remember talking to the guy a little bit. You're talking about work, driving back, listening to Bram Stoker's Dracula, liking a lot. And then, I played the game and had a couple things I tweaked and modded on it. And that was kind of it. But actually I should say, there's a song I made, wrote, whatever you want to call it. I guess I'll put it at the end. You may have heard it before, called Down These Roads. And there's a lyric in there that I remember working on it, kind of like 5 feet from where I am right now. And I was talking, what is it? I was talking about, I put emotions where they can't be found and hitch a ride on. Basically the lyrics meaning, in a way, talking about burying your feelings to not have to deal with them is kind of the point of this. Hey, have you heard an artist talk about that shit? Anyway, the lyrics are, I put emotions where they can't be found and hitch a ride along that cemetery wall. And I remember the way I came up with cemetery wall is because I was working on the Bram Stoker's Dracula, that cemetery in the back left of the machine. I was putting UV ink on it, and I was going to put a UV light to shine on that. And working on that machine, I will always remember that lyric, which actually in my head, it works really well, comes from the influence of having that game. So owning Bram Stoker's Dracula was, the memory of it is a combination of the listening to the audiobook, the drive, it being in lyrics, and meeting the guy and seeing the game at MGC. And I sold it, I don't know, a month later, something like that. It's a fairly simple game. You get to 30 billion. God, it's been so long. You do it, and it's awesome, and you have, your little orgasm, and you move it on. So that's what I remember about the game the most. Yes, the experience of the game, I think most people or hobbyists that would listen to a podcast, you absorb the information from the game pretty quick. I mean, like, the audio you get used to pretty fast if you play the games a lot. You get used to the shots, you get used to the rules, and it's all very new and it's very exciting at first. And then you get used to it and you know it, and it's like, all right, well, okay, this thing is, Bram Stoker's Dracula specifically, this thing is $5,000. Is this worth $5,000 of joy long term for something that I have now like memorized everything about? I've seen everything I need to see. No, but the experience was worth it. So it wasn't worth $5,000, but what I always tried to do, and a lot of us do, is mitigate that cost of, all right, I want to buy the game for X. I'd prefer to only lose $500 or make $200. Just hopefully roughly break even in the end if you can, or at least just pay enough for what that experience is worth. So if the experience I got, because keep in mind, an 8-hour round trip to me is worth like $800 minimum. My time I value pretty high. You're spending that time. And what are you getting out of it? Seems to be $500 is kind of just the pulse on a pro level, let's say, or a, this more old school game. So in the end, that's where the value came from. So when I've seen other people say this on videos or podcasts or you name it, like, don't think of it as an investment. I don't think a lot of people are. I'm like, just shut up. I'm not. If you are, that's fine. I like to invest in ETFs or low mortgage rates or appreciating assets. So shut up. This is the toys, but we all get value out of it for different reasons. A lot of people get it out of buying a beater and fixing it up, and they love that part of it, and that's actually pretty fucking sweet. I like that in Lord of the Rings, sure. Other people want this like fancy Spike 2 collection. The point is, looking back of my habits of pinball the whole time, and maybe this isn't like some revelation, but to me it is. It's a reflecting point of pinball, of what was so exciting, what drove me for so long was each game was a new experience because I had not played it before. driving to get it, meeting the people, sometimes scary, sometimes not, and now that I've kind of owned or done most of that I wanted to, and none of them have stuck around to provide this longing happiness, I then personally moved on to what I'm doing now, the podcasting, the audio of it, to give it another avenue, another experience. But down these roads, right? Down this road, we'll just use that song in the theme of today's episode. Looking at some of these, I had a for sale, for trade, a Star Wars premium. Oh man. So I remember this Star Wars premium, specifically buying this one of, I remember the specific thing about the game. I remember getting home and I could backhand the Hyperloop on this one, the premium, which was actually pretty odd. The hyperspace loop I could actually backhand. However, I remember buying this from a gentleman, not super far of a drive, so whatever. And I probably listened to Rebel Force Radio, my favorite podcast. Any Star Wars fans out there that want the best podcast, please check out Rebel Force Radio if you haven't. It's a podcast that's been around forever, since the early days. Stellar audio quality. Rebel Force Radio. Go check that out. But I went to go buy this, and the guy was a relative noob to pinball, as in he just bought it brand new. I'm sure I got it for a good deal. It was fine. Ad break, bitches, for Flippin' Out Pinball, the best and only place to buy your pinball machines and accessories.
When I buy my pinball shit, I buy from Flippin' Out. From toppers, sharp blades, radios, I've got it figured out. Flippin' out, figured out. When I think of pinball, I think flippin' out. Flippin' out, figured out. When I buy from Flippin' Out. Buy.
But I get there, and I did bring, I think I brought a dolly and I think just a wrap, because he didn't have all the stuff. You know the tools that you need. He didn't have a lot of the tools. Anyway, I get there, and he's like, oh yeah, also we're going to need to take the head off and take it sideways up the stairs. What? Come again? Okay, I thought this was all right. Usually, for us to do this, it's usually a heads up, oh, by the way, this is going to be the worst, heads up. No, I had none of that. You just thought it was the normal, oh yeah, this is going to take 4 hours, by the way. And I had in my head, I'm like, all right, it's an hour and a half there. I'll take about a half hour, do my thing, take the bolts off, say hello, shake. Oh, nice house, nice weather. See you later. And you go, it's just how you do it. No. Get in there. All right, the head's got to come off. He's like, I've never done that. So it's all on you, as in me. Great. I guess here we go. I do that. And he's like, yeah, and I can't help. My knee is bad. Oh, good. Okay, so you need me to take these up the stairs with the head off, and you can't help. Okay, yeah, plus there's a turn in the stairs. So at that turn, you basically, with it on a dolly, it was hell. I won't go through it was pure hell. And so I get up there. It took way too long. Not worth it at that point, the price. I would have paid at least $300 more for it to just be a normal up 2 stairs in your car. See you later. Get the fuck out of here. I get it up there. I get in the car. I start driving. Oh, I forgot. Well, it was something important. It wasn't my keys, because obviously I was driving. It was either my phone or the money that I didn't. Anyway, the moral is I was about a mile out. He was off a highway in Minneapolis, so it wasn't fuck, just turn around the block. Get back, drive it. Here you go. Hello. Yeah, thanks. Bye. Get home hours after I was supposed to. And then the game I sold after a week and whatever. So my memories were that fucking crazy trip. And the game was just the game. Again, same point. The experience is what it was. And, again, the wise men quote say, an experience with someone else you love. I didn't love this guy. I guess maybe I did if I'm remembering so much, but that's what solidifies it in your psyche more, as an experience with someone you love is way better than buying stuff, is the point. I see a lot of my own for sale Lord of the Rings, but I mean, the amount of Lord of the Rings stories, I could probably just do a whole episode on buying in. Jesus, I'm remembering this clown. Oh my God. A lot of Lord of the Rings stories that I can totally remember. Tron. Oh, that's a fuck in the ass, isn't it? My Tron, buying that. The antithesis of all the great memories of this. I'm 95 doing the heroin, doing the cigarettes. I die. God's like, tell me about Tron. and I start just swearing up and down the fucking the White Mountain. I don't know, in heaven, whatever I'm doing up there. He'd probably throw me back down in hell to talk about that Tron story again. Loaded Ghostbusters Pro with color DMD. I do remember a few Ghostbusters stories. Because I've owned it a few times, as one does. This is something nice. Everyone hopefully has this story that's bought and sold a game or two, something like this, where basically, and I've learned from this person in the best possible way, where the game ends up being not just slightly, but loads better than even is described. Where, sometimes I think in the first couple games, you want to like kind of ignore a couple things. Nothing major, like a gash on the playfield, but maybe like, a little switch that's kind of flaky. You don't talk about it. Or over time, us mature or more honest, maybe I should say, or just kind of like tell everyone everything. Like, there's a scuff there, there's a rub there. It doesn't always do this, just so you know. And like, okay, cool, fine. But early on, he's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good condition, and whatever. I just remember it being like, okay, I saw some pictures, and the pictures were somewhat blurry. Not like he was trying to hide something, but just like, okay. And I was trading specifically a Godzilla Premium, and he was trading a Godzilla Pro plus cash. This was in the middle of COVID, where Godzilla Premiums were like $50,000, but everything was, so it really netted out to be the same difference between every game. Fair trade is the point. Ghostbusters plus cash. But his wife ended up coming to the trade because she was coming up to our town, and so he sent it with her on an errand. So she drops the game off. I give her a Godzilla, and we're like, "This weird pinball, huh? All right, here's $500. See you later." And kind of slightly awkward because I've never talked to this person, but so I have myself a Ghostbusters, and I get it downstairs. I open it up, and it's like in Pulp Fiction where they open up the case, and I was like, "Has this thing ever been played?" The best looking playfield I've ever seen. Forgot to mention there's a color DMD and all these actual valuable mods. All the balls I switched out for the green Slimer balls, for those who know the game. Like the little mods are like, oh, fucking A, like you did all this shit. Some UV light mods. He had that extra Ghostbusters cheater kit, basically, the center post and all those like lane guide things that you take off of Ghostbusters. Because don't be a pussy. He had those all extra in the coin box. He had the fan mod. Anyway, the moral is I remember that this is one of those good people that just undersells what they're selling you. You end up basically having even more value than you thought of. I'm like, man, like I almost felt bad. Like he got a brand new Godzilla Premium. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like rip him off, but I just remember thinking more of this guy after that. And I'm not sure if he listens or not because I know we chatted quite a bit. If he does, hello. I do remember it. And man, fuck. Good on you. Yeah. I remember that, and I remember that the Godzilla Premium I had actually got scuffed in delivery, so Stern had to send out some body decals for me, but since I didn't own it, I sold it to this guy. It took like 6 months before I had to give it to him, and he was patient because he's a tournament player, and he knew that Stern just like, oh, what? You bought something worth $10,000 and it totally doesn't work? Oh, we don't really give a shit. We'll get back to you later. And then you beg them and 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 beg them, and then they finally maybe send it out to you. That's fun, right? But yeah, I remember all those around the games. As Ghostbusters, I remember the game in general, but that was like the third time I owned it. And I think maybe subconsciously those were all the experiences that kept me going. The buying the games and meeting the good and the bad, because you never know what you're going to get. And doing the audio for the music for Triple Drain podcast, and then doing this and meeting Kale and Nudge and Zach and Joel and the other Zach and wait, is it two Zachs? There's 2 or 3 Zachs. Doing the Patreon. Just fun stuff. And lately that's what's been keeping my interest is like, shit. I miss that. I know it's only been a couple months, but man, I mean, when I was in it, I was fucking in it. But now I'm finding all those experiences in other new places because pinball the last, few months is like, there's no novelty. And I played the complete bejesus out of Jaws, which was, I thought it wasn't great. And then I thought it was amazing. And in the end, like, I think it's fine. I think it's average. I think it's, it's fine. It's more the theme than anything that really doesn't do much for me. But then John Wick comes out and it's like, nah, shit. That's not great. And since Godzilla, like I have played it. It's fine. It's black and white. I don't care. And plus the game, droopy flippers, flow. I'd rather trap and shoot kind of games. So not there. Black Knight Sword of Rage. I've owned it 3 or 4 times in the past, so nothing new. Now waiting on. Seems like X-Men '97 is the ticket. Yeah, that it's going to be X-Men or Metallica that really bring it in. And even then, it's does the same old ways work? Like, can I get an experience with X-Men that or Metallica that is beyond? Okay, get it and play the shit out of it for a few days, and I don't know, that the novelty wears off pretty fast, and then it becomes this game of like, well, it's just a grind. Do you want that score? Do you want to go through this thing over and over and over for an arbitrary score, or are you getting experiences with it? I would hope that it's the experiences. So for me, it would be if X-Men or Metallica comes in, play it, get on here, start recording, be super excited about it, talk with, Zach from Deep Dives, maybe, talk some shit about the secondary market, talk about that some more, talk to Kale and Rachel, ask how it's going. But it seems to be the perfect storm the last couple months of there's nothing really new and novel. All the games are out there if you want it. There's no like chasing of games, which is kind of strange to say. And I don't know. It could just be self-imposed that this where's the excitement that there's been for the last 5 years. But I think more realistically, looking at the landscape of everything is kind of following this. There was this very healthy pinball hobby and market pre-COVID, and then COVID there was this explosion of like, oh my god, and the money and all that. People went out there, and now it's like, oh, it's getting back to normal. But there's this lagging indicator of, well, there's a lot of extra games out there, and now there's a lot less money in it. There's not many hobbyists doing it. And with Stern burning most people on LEs, like that's just a thing of the past. The LEs thing is, because people were flipping them, and that was so gross. And they had this elitist mentality in the secondary market. Oh, you guys, get the fuck out of here with your LE dumb shit. Oh my God, it's so gross. Hopefully that's dead and gone, because that was just nonsense. The condescending conversations that would come from those jabronis. Ugh. So that LE market seems to be gone, and I'm very tentatively excited for the new possibilities of, aside from X-Men and Metallica, like whatever JJP's cooking up. Expo in October, still in the books to go there. Still have the hotel booked, even though, are we going to go or not? I don't know. Dane and I were just talking about it. Maybe we won't. But being removed from it the last couple months, still doing the car thing, still as an aside, I was chased by 3 Asians the other day in a Mazda 6. Yeah, I was driving my 2023 MX-5 Club out in the twisties, and I could tell when this black Mazda 6 was coming up on my ass, like, oh, you're a hooligan. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll play. So there's this there's this popular spot in kind of out in the country where I am, where like you go to be stupid with your car. It's what you do. There's no speed limit, and there's twisties everywhere, so you try to just get your adrenaline out there. And I was doing it, and they were following me the whole time. I'd turn around, they follow me, turn around, follow me, keep going, follow me. We got behind this clown in a minivan who was going slow as shit. We were honking, just being complete idiots. Anyway, doing that. But now, so that's, just like anything else, becoming less novel. It's fun, but like, okay, if I'm not doing this with people I love, which, to be fair, my wife and I absolutely love being stupid in vehicles, so that's fun. Pinball is still tickling me. And so whatever JJP's got coming, whatever Expo's got coming, that's exciting. But I should say, taking a break and looking back, I think what I was getting at, I'm kind of going all over the place. Thank you for bearing with me. The games I miss playing, like teleport a game right in front of me and just start playing for like, oh, you want to have fun with a game. Foo Fighters. Easy. The first one, no doubt. Foo Fighters, Premium, or LE, whatever. But with expression lights, just seriously, that's the game I miss the most. And I've played everything that I've ever wanted or would want to. If there's a game, regardless of price, that I could just play right now, it would be Foo Fighters, followed up with probably Iron Man, Pro Vault. But I mean, if it's just playing, I'll play either. But yeah, Pro Vault. And then Ghostbusters. Oh, God damn it, I'm doing that thing where I talk myself into wanting fucking games again. God damn it. All right, that's dumb. So, and fucking Metallica. Hope they don't change it too much. And Walking Dead. Yeah. Oh my God, there's one for sale right by me. God damn it. And this is probably my old game. Okay. All right. It is my old game. That thing plays so nice. Are you serious? Okay, this is bad news. I gotta stop recording this before. I want to keep finding reasons to record and keep doing this. I miss it. I really do. Work is busy. Work is great. Life is good. Life is busy. Life is great. All that. But Pinball, do me a favor. Come out with X-Men soon. Reduce the price a little bit. Stop being bullshit with the LEs. Jersey Jack, come on. I hope it's, Matrix or Harry Potter. If it's Muppet, if it's Muppets, I'm going to call it Muffets. If it's Avatar, I don't know what we're doing here. I like the company, but what the fuck game I want to play. Before we go, let's pull up the old Nap, because, he's doing his job. Unlike me, Nap keeps it real puts out the news all the time. Yeah, talking about the X-Men stuff, Stern production schedule, history of Atari Pinball, yeah. Spooky Pinball likely to reveal next game in December, and more. That lines up. What? I'm just reading this right now, so I'm saying and filler words. People who order a Looney Tunes or Texas Chainsaw Massacre today can expect delivery in January or midwinter. That's just something I can't do with pinball in general. Nope. Reverse that. I guess what I'm saying is pay for a game now and wait a few months. Aside from like this Haggis bullshit, that's dumb. Don't do that. If I'm spending $6,000 to $10,000, I kind of want that thing pretty quick. For those out there who have way more money, kudos to you. Because yeah, for me, if it was like, hey, spend $100 and you get it in 6 months, that's fine. And maybe that's the scale of money these fuckers are working with. And goddamn, good on you. But as we all know, above $75,000 salary doesn't really make us happier. So get fucked, rich guys. You guys are probably sadder than us. So eat shit. Spooky's gonna announce a game. Okay, spooky. Yeah, come on. Be good. Be Beetlejuice or He-Man. Is He-Man going to be American Pinball? God, that's so dumb. Pinball Brothers begins shipping ABBA surprise code update for Sperm Pinball's Deadpool. Yeah, for Deadpool Wolverine. For those who saw it, what do you think? I saw it. Deadpool Wolverine. Was it as incredible as the marketing got me as hyped to believe? No, but I did like a lot of the cameos, and it was definitely good. But okay, anyway, that's enough for this time. Let's save more for next. I do have some ideas, but I wanted to talk to all of you. Missed you a little bit, missed doing this. And I will end this with the song called Down These Roads, which I've used before. And spoiler, it was the lyrics that used to be Hitch a Ride Along That Cemetery Wall. I forget if it's cemetery or fabricated in this version, but it's supposed to be cemetery, so forgive me. But until next time, see you later.
When I was younger, all